Okay, this is the door between the garage and the living space. And this door, now I'll wipe it down. This door should have a self-closing spring on it. Because if I was a fire, there's nothing to stop me from walking in and greeting you. Hello. Hello, unsuspecting resident. Also, I noticed something right here. There it is. The door sweep is torn. So it should have a self-closing spring. And the door sweep is torn. This is the garage overhead door control button. It should not be closer. I'm vertically challenged. I'm 5'7". This is down around my right about my breast. Okay. It's not supposed to be closer to the floor than 5 feet to keep little hands from coming up and messing with it. And then there should be a notice, a safety notice should be installed right here on the door. Courtesy light's working. We do have a pull handle. Hey! Safety reverse kind of works. I can't say that it's not working. Okay, this is a spring tension sticker. That's a good thing. They're supposed to be on the first panel, on both sides, both corners. There's supposed to be a spring tension notice here. And then inside the door, actually inside and outside, but there should be a pull handle so that the door can be operated manually. If you lose power, this is the emergency pull handle. If you lose power, you pull that emergency handle, set it free on the track, and then open and close it. There's not a handle there. This is a safety notice. This is a good thing. Like, should have been installed by the button. There should be some redundancy there. So you should have a safety notice. The optic sensors should not be closer, they should not be further from the garage floor or the driveway than 6 inches. So your optic sensors are too high. Your manual door lock has been decommissioned. See that bolt right there? It's been decommissioned so you can't accidentally cause damage to the door. If you pull this handle and de-energize the door, then you could take this bolt out and use that lock. As it is now, you don't want somebody to accidentally raise the door while it's locked. So that's a good thing. So the optic sensors are too high. We do not have a pull handle. We do not have a spring tension. The control button is too close. What is that? The control button is too close, and we do not have a warning notice. And we look up here at the door, and the door is not GFCI protected. By the way, the GFCI has been tripped, and the door is operating. So that's evidence of it. By the way, GFCI was not required on the garage ceiling when this home was built. It's a safety device. It's a safety device. Texas Real Estate Commission believes that it's important. They should know about it. Coming on, let there be. There's that screen that was missing from the exterior of the video. That little storage. The piping on the other side of the house where it's all wet. This is the water filtration system. It's screwed in with an extension cord. Okay. You shouldn't have extension cords used in permanent applications. It should have had its own receptacle over here. The manufacturer decided this cord should be this long, not that long. Water filters are beyond the scope of this inspection. You should have it serviced. You should have it serviced. I know that termites show up around plumbing. It seems in my experience, limited as it may be with water filters, for that matter, but I seem to find an inordinate amount of termite activity around water filters as compared to other plumbing. And I see more with other plumbing because I don't see that many filters. But it seems like the ratio, it's just a seat of the pants thing. Here we have the main electric service panel. The meters on the other side of the wall should have been sealed. If this home was built this morning, like it was not, there'd be little rubber booties on these. But outside of that, see all this paint? paint's not supposed to be inside the cabinet. Voided the manufacturer's warranty. It's on top of the main breakers. Look at that, okay? I'm going to go a little farther. It's on top of your neutral wires. It's on top of your ground wires. But it's not on top of your breakers. It's not on top of your breakers. So it's reasonable to assume that these breakers were installed after this paint was applied. And if they weren't installed when this paint was applied, it would be reasonable to assume that this same overspray is going over the main lugs to the panel. So it's voided the manufacturer's warranty, basically made the panel obsolete. Will it work? It's been working. It's been working. It's not just your home, it's your home investment. The next home inspector is going to find that. Again, it voided the manufacturer's warranty. It was obsolete. This panel was basically, it was obsolete the day that was installed, the day it was sprayed. I hate to say that. And again, does it mean you can't use it? It's been being used. It has been being, it's being and has been used. This is called bundling. This is called bundling. We have these large knockouts for L1 and L2 and your main neutral. We have these large knockouts. We don't know where it's going to be, so we have them in several places inside the cabinet. And then we have these smaller knockouts. You have these smaller knockouts because you're not supposed to bring more than 2 cables in together at a time. But it's much easier just to use one of these knockouts for these guys, use it up here, bring all those in instead of using all these little, nuisance knockouts. It's easier. That's the way they did it in my house. My house is not for sale. You shouldn't have to live like me. It's like this next door. It's like this on both sides of your house. It's like this in the entire neighborhood. It's very, very common. I'm not discounting my work. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying forget about it. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how it's just very, very common. What can I say? Okay, white hot's coming in. All right? Anytime you have a white hot coming in, that should be wrapped with black tape so that any fool can know that that's hot. If anybody is in this cabinet and they do not know that this is hot, they do not belong in this cabinet. Nonetheless, they're all the same, or regardless. Take your pick, okay? But it should have been wrapped with black tape. That, I don't know how much sleep I would lose. But here we go. This cabinet has been installed into the wall with screws, and sheetrock screws for that matter. Look at that. Look at that. Sheetrock screws are fast. They're tight. I get that. But they're also brittle. They don't have the same shear strength that nails have. If this structure was to experience a tornado, for example, this cabinet would have a lot better chance of staying in place. This cabinet would have a lot better chance of staying in place if it had been properly nailed instead of screwed in like that. This is a pretty good example. This is called printing. This is called printing. And on your panel cover, hillbilly home inspections, this is called hand labeled or hand printing since they printed. But that's not the same. It's supposed to be printed like this. GE even supplied the stickers to use for this. But they, we've got to peel them off. They stick on stuff. It gets in the way. I get that. Right? Over here, this breaker, this is a 60 amp breaker. This breaker is for the air conditioning system. I can also tell because it's got the white hot. The air conditioning system, the old, less energy efficient air conditioning system was replaced with a more energy efficient air conditioning system. And the maximum breaker for the condensing unit outside that we looked at is 40 amps. So this breaker is overfused. You can put a smaller breaker on the same size of wires. You don't have to change the wires, but the breaker should have been changed. The breaker should have been changed. Hand labeled. That's about it. So we're moving on along. Oh, the bonding location is not labeled inside of the box. It should be hand labeled, hand printed, whatever. They should write bond at front water cold bib faucet because that's where it is. This is where the bond is, right in here. We found it. But it should be labeled inside the panel so that somebody doesn't have to go on a treasure hunt like I did. But there it is. That's the bonding. This is the extension cord to the water filter. It's not hooked up. Looks like the step-down transformer's all busted up. I didn't do that. I found that. That wasn't me. This is the lawn sprinkler system. This is not GFCI protected. When this home was built, if it was a single, that's called dedicated receptacle, and it was over 5 feet in the garage, it didn't have to be, when this home was built, that didn't have to be GFCI, just like this receptacle up here didn't have to be GFCI. But times change, times march on. That's a safety device that the Texas Real Estate Commission, again, thinks the consumer should be made aware of, and it's not GFCI protected. Coming on down, I tried to run this. I can barely see this. Front yard, we'll just do number 2. Manual zone, go up to number 2. Put some time on that puppy. Send it into operation. Pause, go! It's not going. It's not going because the other video out there where I found that the vacuum, the anti-siphon device, the valves have been turned off. And again, they're probably turned off because of all this water over here. It's not going anywhere. So that's that. This system's not working. I'm just going to turn it off. No sense in pretending. This labeling is barely legible. Barely. Oh, we're still going. Double pane metal frame. See this little orange dot? It's kind of faded, so I'm not sure when. But at some point, this home has been inspected by another inspector. That's called a clue or an indicator. It could have been a window specialist, a glazier, whoever it was, but somebody was inspecting these windows and they put that orange dot, which means that the window is fogging. And you can kind of see it in there. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. But whoever decided that this window seal was compromised, I agree with them. I think they were right about that. So the vapor barrier is compromised. You don't lose any efficiency. You don't lose any security. It's ugly. And the Texas Real Estate Commission, again, says that the seal is broken and it's a deficiency. So we should. It's single pane metal frame. I rose it, lowered it. Single sash. This GFCI right here, okay, it controls this receptacle outlet, the front porch receptacle outlet, and the back porch receptacle outlet. I'll find out if it controls anything else, but even that, again, when this home was built, it was okay to have a garage receptacle outlet that controlled the exterior. Today, you'd want one for the exterior and one for the garage. It's just the way it's done today. Another thing that's done today, these are AFCIs, arc fault circuit interrupters. Like GFCI is ground fault, that's sharks, arc is sparks. And when this home was built, again, they were required in the bedrooms. See that? They were required in the bedrooms. And that's the best way to test them. I'll try again, but that's the best way to test them. I mean, that's what the manufacturer says. I'll put it that way. Maybe not the best, but the manufacturer says to test them that way. They know better. It's their stuff. So if this home was built today, then you would have AFCI in just about everywhere in the interior. I'll have it listed inside the report. It'll be there for you. Another interesting note, by the way, this is your kitchen appliances and garage and stuff. All right, on this side. On this side, these are like your regular lights and receptacle outlets. And these are all 15 amps. And that's all they're required to be. Even today, they're only required to be. But some municipalities are bumping them up to 20. So they are being increased to 20. But that's not mandatory. And it certainly wasn't mandatory when the home was built.